Alright, hey, Spades here, bringing you guys another Wargame video. This is just a deck build for Finland. Um, this is my deck that I've already kind of made. It's open to changes. I might throw in some changes on the fly here while I'm looking it over, but I'm going to try to go through this as quickly as I can. My deck name is called Finish Him. Always have to try to throw in something clever for the laughs. Alright, so my logistics tab is as follows. I got the Gaz, just little standard fucking 100 point dude guy for command. I don't think I'm going to change that out. I've never been a fan of command tanks or really command helicopters. Obviously, there are some instances where you'd want command helicopters. Command infantry is a good idea always, but I don't know. I've always stuck with the standard fucking 100 point. I mean, that's the cheapest command you can get. I mean, you can get a cheap command helicopter. The reason why I didn't take this slightly more armored 100 point command is because you can only get, I believe, 4 or 5 of them versus 7. Really, the games, I guess for me, I could change it to that for armor, extra armor. You might want more command units for conquest games since it's a little bit more aggressive game and they're trying to snipe commands and whatnot. So I'll stick with the armored. I mean, might as well. It's slower on road and off road, I'm sure. Yeah, but it's amphibious and it's armored. So anyway, that's enough time talking about that. I went with the 35 point logistics helicopter. It's the only one that carries logistics. So, and I definitely, whenever I want supplies, I want to get the biggest truck I can get. This is how I like to play, and 15 points is the standard size. So unfortunately, there's no big ass like 40 point or 30 point trucks. So I have 2 cards of those and 1 fob. Moving on to infantry, I have the ITO 86M, which are just Igla Ins, which are great. Igla Ins are fucking outstanding. So 55% accuracy, man pads. I always try to have a group of man pads in my deck. This is how I've gotten used to playing. And I've tried these out in a couple games already with Finland. The 20mm gun is nice. And once they get trained a little bit better, or they rank up during game, if you can keep them alive, they do pretty good. But they're militia training already, so, and then you can only get them trained 29 trained, so they're pretty awful accuracy wise once they get stunned or anything or shot at all. But once you get them ranked up, and I usually call them out in like squads of 4, and really they haven't been doing as well as I had hoped. One thing that you could easily switch them out for 15 points more is these guys, the Musti. It has more range, 16 APs, nothing to shake your head about, and 1400 meter range. I already said that. 2 HE is good for taking out infantry as well. So I don't know. I'm gonna still stick with these guys just to see if I can make them work, but changing out for the Raskazing. I don't even know how to pronounce that, but I'm just going to call them Moosty guys because they have the musty there. You could definitely easily trade them out. I just want these militia guys to work, so I'm gonna keep trying them and see what they're good at. Then I have Panzerjikari 90s. And I take them over the non-90 version for obviously the better AT rocket they have. They have 700 meter range and 50% same accuracy, less or more AP, faster rate of fire, all that. So it's kind of a no-brainer when it comes to taking the 90 over the non-90, I guess. I mean, same stats on everything else. So definitely want to take the Panzerkiri. Panzerkiri. I don't know. But they're 5 points more. That's why they're. I mean, they're just better. So take those if you're playing a non-era restricted deck. I wasn't gonna fuck around with just the Jakiri because they have laws. The M72A4 is only slightly better than the regular law. I guess if you wanted some, cheap line infantry with regular training, you'd take these guys. But I love my infantry to fucking do what they're meant to do. I mean, I rely on infantry a lot. So yeah. So I don't dick around with laws. They're a shitty fucking rocket. So these guys, Kart and Jakari, same thing. They have a law. Their LMG is really good, long range, bad accuracy, but a huge fire rate. But shock training, and they're 15-man strength, so that might be something to look at. They're probably good at holding down a town, but nothing I want. You can bring them out in these cracks here, though, which have a grenade launcher on them. And that's also something I noticed in one of my games. I was playing against a Finland, and I saw those. No, I wasn't playing against. I guess it was someone on my team. So I guess these 15-man squads here are the only things that you can get in cracks. So, you might want to buy those just for the transport. That might be something I change up in the future. Who knows? And you can even get them in these Moosty transports, which is like that infantry, but it's on a gun or on a transport. So might think about that as well. I didn't even see that when I first made my deck. Looks like you can't get them in anything else besides these shock 15-man squads. I would not take them in this helicopter. It doesn't even have rockets on it. So moving on, we got already covered those three. I mean, you can, if you want Conkers in your or AT-Gem in your, infantry tab, then obviously do that. I feel like tanks are good enough for Finland. And I'll get to that here in a little bit, but the spikes are really accurate and more AP by 1, but it's a shorter range. 2450 really doesn't give you a lot of leeway. Tanks have 2275, or most tanks, updated tanks do, so it doesn't give you a whole lot of range to outrange. And when you think about how fast the missile flies, that tank can close that gap pretty quick. And if your AT-GM is being spotted by Recon, that tank is just going to move up and kill that 2-man squad easily. So 2450 meter range is really, I don't know, it's almost not worth it to even take it as AT-GM, honestly. And it has 65% accuracy, but I wasn't saying like, I think I was using, I think I used them, yeah. And I mean, really what I used them for was to deter. You have to have a lot of these squads, and I was using it on the map Green Mile, I think, and I took the front that was just completely open, and I spread out like 4 of these guys all over it. So whenever you see 4 missiles coming at your tank, yeah, you're not going to push, you're going to back up. But I don't think I got any significant hits in because the tank can reverse out of that range pretty easily as well. So you just lose the range, and then the missile goes into the dirt or into the air. So if I was going to take an ATGM guy, I would take Conkers, I think. Yeah, they're less accurate, but you could take them. You could take them hardened instead of like. You get more hardened. You can get more of these guys for the same price and spread them out, and you have better range with only one less AP. So, it's about just preference. If you want to try out the Spike, which came in with Israel, then obviously go for it. But I'm a Conkers man through and through, I think. So when it comes to Special Forces, same thing as my shock infantry. I chose to put in the Renikia Jakari, however you pronounce that. The 90 version is, better. LMG is slightly better. It has looks like 8 more rounds per minute, which is almost negligible. It's the same suppression and HE. So, but the AT is where it's at. More range, more accuracy, more AP, or same accuracy and more AP and faster fire rate and more suppression. The primaries are the exact same, different weapons, but the exact same. So, yeah. So take the 90s if you want to have a super killer squad of dudes. And what I did was I took some 7 elite here, and then I have 10 veteran. Elite's just gonna make them kill better. So, and you can get 3 squads of these guys. So you could even, if you don't want these shock training, I take the shock training dudes just to I have a little bit of cheaper infantry, and they can almost do the same thing, especially when you get them, keep them alive and get them ranked up. And they're, they move 5 kilometers per hour slower. And I mean, they're virtually the same infantry, just a little bit less accurate with their main guns. And they have less AT. They have 2 less rockets. So, you could always delete these guys and put more special forces in. Or what I do like about these guys is you can call them out, and these transports that have Bushmasters on them, which are pretty weird. I mean, both Yugoslavia and Finland have blue 4 and red 4 units, and this obviously Bushmaster is blue 4 stuff. It's super accurate. Look at that, 60% accuracy on this transport with a 30mm gun. And it's got 4 AP power too. So, you compare that to the BMP2 here that, Red 4 has. It's tracked. It's got more armor, sure. It's a 30mm gun, same range, less accuracy by 30. And 2 less AP, which is pretty significant for a 30mm gun. And the rate of fire looks like a little bit less for the Bushmaster, but I'd take accuracy over rate of fire any fucking day. And stabilizer is better by 10%. So, and the thing's amphibious. I mean, the BMP2 is amphibious as well, but this thing, it just moves faster. I like fast, and it's not armored, but whatever. That's just my choice. Moving on down anyway to looks like I bring these guys out in this little quick transport, and then I also have them in super Pumas. So anyway, and then again, Moosties. This was between Moosties and these Nastaviki guys. I choose the Nastaviki guys, but it was a hard decision. They're both 5-man squads, and Moostie guys are fucking regular training instead of militia. So I might make that change later. I don't know, but I'm gonna stick with the 20mm gun dudes. So, all right, moving on to support. We have the ITO 96 is what I took. It's got 65% accuracy, 9 HE, so it's a big ass rocket. Um, it's pretty much a tracked Nuwa almost. Uh, range on airplanes is good. This is my radar based AA for Finland. Um, definitely want that. I didn't take the trucked one because it's only got 2 missiles. It's 55 points. That's what I hate about fucking North Korea is their truck that only has 2 missiles on it. You gotta have logistics at it at all times. Um, so anyway, I also have the ITO 90, which is a non-radar Crotal. Crotal is on China and France, but they are four. They only have 4 missiles. This one has 8, and it's 90 points. So it's kind of expensive, but that range for helicopters is awesome, and it's got decent range for airplanes as well. And 60% accuracy is awesome. It's wheeled, it's fast, it's not armored, unfortunately, but definitely want to take that. And then I have the Marksman, which is, UK deck is one of my favorite decks. It is my favorite deck on Blue 4. And I just love the, you know, Chieftain Marksman, Challenger Marksman. I love them. They're just meaty fucking things that can dish out a lot of damage. They can match anything at 2,800 meter range that Red 4 can throw at it. So, yeah. And on airplanes, if they fly over this damn thing, and you got 2 of them blasting at that airplane's going fucking down. And I love that this thing is on fucking Red 4. It's awesome. And it's armored, so it's awesome. ITO 86 has Igla 1s on it. They're pretty much just Iglas with less accuracy, I think, is what's the difference between Iglas and Igla 1s. But this is on a little truck, 25 points. You can just spread these fuckers out all over the place for 25 points. They're pretty similar to the Fosta for East Germany. And I used to use the absolute dog shit out of those when they had Strela M's. I even think they got a buff up to the Igla 1s, and they are now 35 points instead of 25 points. Or instead of 30 points, excuse me. I think they got buffed up to Igla 1s, and I think they have 12 missiles instead of 10. I'm not sure. I guess this one fires only 2 at a time and then has to reload. I'm not sure. But I'm pretty sure the Fosta has 4. But anyway, I like this little truck. I haven't really used it yet, so but it does have potential. And that might be something I change to, is take out these Igla ends and keep that in. And but I like having man pads. They're a little bit more maneuverable and sneaky. But the truck can fill that purpose if you're capable of sneaking it around. So I have it in my deck. And then I have artillery, the Talak 91. It's 152 millimeter gun, decent range, 7 HE, okay fire rate. Pretty much I use this for smoke or just pelting an area. Again, I'm not a big artillery guy, so yeah, I'm not a big artillery guy. So one thing, looks like they have 75 point cluster, 122 millimeters. That's not really gonna kill anything, so not really worth it in my opinion. And I've never been a big AOE guy, AOE MLRS, so I don't dick around with that. And the reason why I took the Talak 91 over the 84 was because the faster fire rate, and it's cheaper. It has a little bit less range, but it really doesn't matter for artillery. I mean, you can move it up, just behind your line if you have to, which you won't really need to. Pretty much the Talak 84 price is buffed up because it has more armor, and it can have a direct fire mode. 19-25 meter range. So you're not gonna take a 110 point artillery piece and start pelting fucking tanks with it. You know, that's just not what it's for. It just seems stupid to put something that expensive on the front line. So yeah, that's not what I'm interested in. So that's why I have the Talak 91 and something. I didn't notice this. There's a ZU-23-2 truck. Looks like it's more accurate. It's wheeled. I just completely overlooked this. Same fire rate. I don't know. I mean, that might be interchangeable with this little ITO 84 because it has more range on helicopters and it's 5 points more. You know what? I just made a change. I'm going to take those Igla 1 truck out, and I'm going to put this Sergey mod in, because that is a pretty cool truck. So another thing that I might do is take out the Talak 91 for some mortars. But I think I'll keep the artillery just in case I need it. Yeah, I'll do that. These are 160 millimeter rounds for mortars. That's pretty good. Fire rate is 7 rounds per minute, which is, this one has a rate of 18 rounds per minute, but it's only 82 millimeter. So that's probably good for smoke. But anyway, that's my support tab. Let's move on. Tanks. This is what I find crazy, and I've already, let's just talk about the heavy tank here. So, looking at the heavy tank, we have, standard maximum range, 165 point tank, 21 front armor, which is decent. But the AP power is 23. It's got 70% accuracy and 40 stabilization, 9 rounds per minute, and it's pretty fast for a tank, 70 kilometers per hour, off-road. So that's fucking awesome. And it's 21 front armor, 10 side armor. That's good. And then you look at the step down, the T-72M1 Piav. Same fucking gun. It's got 23 AP power and it's a 120 point tank. So just in comparison, for 120 points, you can get the M2 Wilk for Poland, and this is kind of why I'm bringing up Poland too. Is it's got less a lot. I think it's like 20 or 19 AP. I can't remember for the M2 Wilk. But it's 120 points. But it's only at 14 front armor, so it's kind of like a glass cannon. But it's, I don't know, I feel like this tank has a lot of fucking potential to fucking slay like crazy. 70% accuracy is crazy for a 120 point tank. For Red 4 anyway. Yeah, so, I mean, the reason why this is such a crazy thing, though, is you can put this tank in a mechanized deck. It's armored or mechanized. Because of its low armor, which is only 14, and that's a big, like, scary thing. You don't want to lose that 120 point tank because it takes a shot or two from a standard heavy, but you probably don't actually want to take this tank against, say a M1A2 or something, unless you have the drop on it. You want to take this tank out for the other fucking, medium tanks, and it will absolutely outslay it just because it has that 23 AP and 70% accuracy. And I actually, before I even played my Finland deck, I made a Baltic, what do you call them? A Baltic, fuck. Anyway, it's just the coalition. Baltic Coalition or Baltic Front Coalition. It's just Poland and Finland. So it's a coalition of Poland and Finland. And I made it mechanized and I snuck this fucker in there and it was awesome. So I love my mechanized decks, and this is by far the best tank you can sneak into a mechanized deck. So anyway, I have both that, the heavy tank, and that little 120 point tank with that awesome fucking gun on it. And then I have this other fucking awesome tank, the T55, 50 points, and it has 70 accuracy. That is crazy. That's the most accurate T55 in the game, I believe. 17 AP's nothing to fucking shake a stick at either. It's pretty good for a T55, and it's got the max range of a T55 or of any other tank. So, it's light on armor, but it's only 50 points. It's got a 7 rounds per minute, which is kind of standard T72. Okay, T72s have 8, so this is definitely worth it. The Matty T55 is fucking awesome. So definitely take that in your deck. And looks like you can even get that in mechanized decks, so that's cool. So my Recon tab is, looks like I got an invite. Not going to be doing that though. Anyway, so Recon tab, I have this little ATV dude. I tried it out, and it's small size and fast, so I'm going to keep it in my deck. It's got no guns, it's just Recon, and it's got very good optics, so yeah, that's why I take that. Jet Ranger, exceptional optics, fast fucking helicopter, in the sky, eye in the sky kind of stuff. So you could obviously take out the Alouette instead. It's got very good optics. It's only one step down optics wise, and it's almost half the price. T55 Recon, it's pretty much a T55 Matty, but it's got fucking optics. So I like this idea. 70% accuracy on a fucking Recon tank that can, dish out some fucking damage. It looks like it has more armor than the regular T55 or the Matty. Yeah, it's got 3 more front armor and 1 more side armor. So, you could even take out the Matty and have this, 2 of these or something in Recon or something crazy like that, and just have, upgraded tanks with better optics that won't lose sight of their targets that they're shooting at, and can even survive a little bit better. For only 15 points more, you get more armor and fucking optics. So that's almost a steal in my book. I might actually that means I'd have to take off something from my, I could take off that. Alright, there we go. I got 10 fucking awesome 65 point T55s. Alright, yeah. So these special forces infantry that I have here are a 10-man squad. They're pretty much like LSTR or FJB. They're more like LSTR than FJB because they have Igla fucking ends instead of Iglas, and they have a 700 meter range fucking AT rocket. So these guys are just like LSTR for East Germany, except they have fucking better anti-air rockets and slightly less AT. I think that the LSTR have Vampires, which have 875 meter range and 24 AP, but I think they have like 70% accuracy. But the Vampires probably shoot slower or have a slower rate of fire. Obviously, you can't get LSTR over these guys, so take these fucking guys for sure. Looks like you can only get 1 squad of them, so I took them out in a little truck to keep their price down to 40 points. And then finally I have the Sissies, which are just like Pruz from Poland, or not Poland, Czechoslovakia. The Pruz have, they're a 10-man squad with fucking Dragonovs, and I've always liked them. They're only 20 points, and you can, you could even call these guys out in trucks too, but you can only get 1 card of trucks, so I call them out in these little XA180 wheeled transports. They're only 10 points, and if you wanted to be all Red 4 like, you could take them out in BTR 60s with the KPVT. or helicopters even, but I definitely want to keep the cost down for these guys, so I take them out in the XA 180s. And I love the 10-man Recon squad with snipers. They can, deal out a lot of damage to infantry before the infantry's even ranged to, fire back. So, yeah. And there's another Gaz here that doesn't have a gun on it, but it's not very small like this little guy. So it'd be spotted, and then it can't defend itself, and yeah, I just don't like that. That pretty much covers it, though. There's some BMPs. There's one with the Conkers on it. Not really interested in Conkers flying for my Recon. And then here's a BMP with a Bushmaster on it. Like, what the fuck? I don't know how they jerry-rigged that shit, but it's a BMP with a fucking Bushmaster on it. This might be a fucking awesome little vehicle to take out, and I might experiment with it because it's got the armor and the Bushmaster, and it's amphibious. So, maybe in my mechanized deck I'll take that or something. But vehicle tab, we have the XA 185. Not even gonna try to say that fucking word. TOW 2 though, so it's got fucking awesome ass TOW 2. It's got 12 missiles on it, 70% accuracy, 25 AP, on red 4. TOWs on red 4. Here you go. 50 kilometers per hour, amphibious. This is where my lacking of AT gem and the my infantry tab comes into play. I got TOW 2s that covers it. That's all I ever need. So then you could take this vigilant. I would not ever take this ever because it's only got 2100 meter range, 30% accuracy, so it's already within tank range. The only reason you'd ever want to take this is if you're doing another era deck, before 1980 or something. So those tanks can't really match its distance. If you take this in a regular deck, you're just going to get it pooped on. I don't care where it is. These missiles are going to fly extremely slow. The tank's going to acquire their target before the missile hits, and even if it does hit, it's 20 AP, and it's probably not going to hit because it's 35% accuracy. So please don't take this. I tow if you want to do something cheaper than the TOW 2 here, but I like the TOW 2, so I'm taking the TOW 2. And then I have these little Sturmies. They are 5 points. Like 5 points. Just wrap that around your head. 5 points, okay? This is the cheapest unit you can fucking buy in this game. 5 points. You could do that with militia trained units, but they still come in transports. So it's 5 points plus whatever transport you're calling them out in. This Sturmy is strictly 5 points. It's got 1750 meter range. For 5 points, that's decent. It's not an AT gem, it's a fucking gun. And it does 6 AP power, which is fucking awful. I understand that, but it's 5 points. And it's 40% accuracy. This thing is god awful on fuel. It's got awful optics. Its stealth is is poor, but its size is small, so it's hard to hit this little fucker. And it's got 3 front armor. It's not going to survive against a big tank. But what I've been doing is bringing these fuckers out in groups of 4, and you have to take a logistics truck with it because it's going to run out of fuel before it even gets to the front line. So you have to refuel it before it gets to the front line, and then you may need to even refuel it again if you want it to get where you want it to get. So, but I call these out in groups of 4s, and I've killed in my first Finland game that I unfortunately didn't record, or I did record and it just fucking fucked on me. I killed M1 IPs with these. I just had a stupid amount of them because I was just dicking around, but I was killing M1 IP Abrams with this thing, and it was fucking hilarious. And he even called out, I think I called 120 points worth of them. So even if the M1 IPs, killed all of them. I only lost 120 points, but I killed like 3 or 4 M1 IPs with them, so they more than paid for themselves. The 40% accuracy is crazy for such a cheap unit. I definitely suggest taking these. And if you don't want to take these, the next best thing is this Moosty on a truck. I was also flirting with this idea. Instead of taking, going back to this infantry, instead of taking these, I was debating on taking these Moosties. Well, here you go. You get Moosties on a fucking truck. We already discussed what the Moosty does. So I would take this over this as well. It's only 5 points more. And I'm not. This Fago M is not worth it in my opinion. So I'm not going to take that. So anyway, Sturmy is a cool little unit for 5 points. Take it. I urge you to take it. For helicopter tab, you don't have much to choose from. There's no attack helicopters really. So I take this TOW 2 heli just for airborne ATGM support. You can get an MI-8T with just the 57mm rockets, but in my opinion, the 57mm rockets don't do enough damage for my liking against infantry or anything, so I skip over them, and I take the MI-8T KT. It's got 80mm rockets, which do fucking slay infantry. 2100 meter range, which is standard for that, but it's got a little bit better accuracy, and it does way more damage for infantry. And that's not even the biggest selling point. I'm comparing the same thing. Okay, this 23mm gun on it is so accurate for this. Like, I've seen this 23mm gun on like the Sokol and stuff, but it doesn't have the same accuracy. Yeah, or maybe it has the same accuracy, but it doesn't have the same rate of fire. The rate of fire on this one is 2,499 rounds per minute. It's just a crazy cool fucking little MI-8T. So, you don't have any other choice really. So, if you don't want to take this TOW 2 because maybe it's redundant with the TOW 2 you got here in your vehicle tab, you could exit that out and fucking just take out this MI-8T KT. And then on my air tab, I have the MiG-29 9.13. It's just a really cheap MiG-29. It's got the awesome fire and forget vimples on it that I like a lot from the East German MiG-29. It doesn't have the closer range like infrared missiles, so that's probably why it's not 150 points. It's only 120 because it's only got 2 of these vimples. But you can call out what I'm taking. I'm taking 2 elite MiG-29s, which is fucking awesome. They're gonna hit their shots. It's 7,700 meter range, 60% accuracy, 5 HE. It's a big ass rocket for, you look at some of the other infrared rockets here. You got 3 HE on the Molnya. This MiG-29, I didn't even notice this. It has Molnyas and it has AIM-9s. So it's got red 4 missiles, or infrared missiles, and blue 4 infrared missiles. That's kind of funny. But, just really quickly comparing, just look, red 4 versus blue 4. These are the missiles that, they compare to. The same ranges. The Molnya's got better accuracy and stabilization, but less HE. And the AIM-9 has less accuracy and stabilization, but more HE. But anyway, that's just kind of funny. So I take the MiG-29s, elite it out. Why the fuck not? You could take 4 train, but take 2 elite. Do yourself a favor, take 2 elite. If you're a big bomber guy, this is half of a B5, 1,500 kilogram bomb, just one of them. It's got 0 ECM, so it's probably going to get shot down if you don't play it safe. But I'm not going to take it out. And then this thing is garbage. 60 points. It's got these little AS-11s on them. The thing's it's so slow. It's got 0 ECM. It's going to get shot down at 2,800 meter range. And even if it hits, which looking like it's not going to with this accuracy here, It's only doing 20 AP, which is kind of stupid for an ATGM plane. This rocket is actually, I think it has, there are vehicles in the Anzac deck that have this rocket, like vehicles. So they strap these stupid ass fucking rockets onto a plane that is shitty. So please don't take this plane unless you just have to, because you're playing a older, older deck. So then here's 2 AOE 500 kilogram bomber. It's cheap. It's fairly fast. Looks like it's got the British Aiden 30 millimeter gun on it. This might be a British plane. I don't know. I have no idea. But it's got the same. I'm pretty sure that gun is from Britain. And then it's got Molnias on it. Again, I'm not a bomber. I don't use bombers here. Here's a Simac radar. So it's not a fire and forget missile, and it's less range, but it's cheaper. It's 85 points. Not interested in it. It's got 0 ECM. Napalm bomber. If you're into napalm bombing, here you go. Here's your napalm bomber. It's got 6 napalm bombs, 500 kilogram napalm bombs, which is pretty big for napalm. And then here's this little cool plane. It's got 0 ECM. I don't really call this thing out that much because it will get shot down most likely, but it's got napalm rockets on it. Wait, I'm thinking about the wrong plane here. This is not a napalm bomb or rocket. I thought it was. I'm pretty sure I used this. I must be getting confused with my Yugoslavian deck. Anyway, this has 135 millimeter rockets, so they're pretty big rockets, and it just throws them out instantly. It does like a attack run, and it just vomits these big ass rockets. So it kills infantry really well, and it kills vehicles pretty good too. So this is kind of a good plane to maybe deter an attack, a push of infantry, maybe preventing them from taking a town or a forest that you don't want them to get into, as long as there's no AA around. And then finally, I take the F-15 or F-18C. It's just crazy having a MiG-29 and an F-18 in the same fucking deck. But anyway, it's got 50% ECM, fucking top end fighter, 170 points. It's got AMRAAMs on it, 60% accuracy, same range as the Vimpels on the MiG-29, but it's got 6 of them instead of 2. This thing will kill fucking aircraft, and it's unlikely to get shot down with 50% ECM. The MiG-29 in comparison has 40% ECM. It's more agile. It's got a better turn radius, the MiG-29, but the F-18C has a lot of slaying potential, and it's even got infrared rockets too. So it's got fucking 8 missiles total. So I had a tough decision. At one point in my deck, I had not enough points for another aircraft, and I deleted something so I could get both the MiG-29 and the F-18C. And you could always substitute one of these two out for a cheaper fighter, like this MiG-21 BIS has just infrared missiles that you could use, or looks like here's another rocket plane. It's just a MiG rocket plane. But anyway, that's my Finland deck. It took me longer than I thought because I got talking about some fun stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and again, sorry for the length. You'll be able to see this deck in action. I did make a change or two, so it won't be exactly the same deck you'll be seeing, but or it might be. Actually, I might play a game and record it after this. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. More Wargame on the way. Peace out.